Shalom, right? To all praise Yahweh Shem Yahshua Bashem Kakadash, and honors the ones who are teaching this truth and knowledge, so we be able to learn this truth and knowledge. Call Yahweh Shem Yahshua Bashem Kakadash, give all praise Yahweh Shem Yahshua Bashem Kakadash. Hope it's edifying, relating to, informative, relating to news. You had a CEO, 31, Charlie Kirk, a non-profit organization, Turning Point, which advocates for schools, high schools, college, universities, and different things. Founded 2012. Anyway, he was at a Utah college event. He was shot at, and he later died. You have continuation of the news. You had a South Korea base. 7 injured. Let me see if I find it. You had Poland. Russian drones were into Polish airspace. Russia says they weren't there to do certain things, but Polish under Article 4, I believe, if you mess with one of the allies, you mess with all of them. I believe that's under Article 4 or 5. Article 4. So they shot down those drones. I believe it was 19. That was on a Crux report, I believe. Scripture talks about you shall hear wars, rumors of wars, see ye be not troubled, for the end is not by and by, for nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be pestilence, earthquakes in different places, for we in the times of sorrows. So you see in the nations, Russia and Poland, the NATO nations, tensions. Let me find this real quick. See something. Yeah, Russia shrugs off relating to the Poland excursion, relating to the drones. That's what he's talking about. You know what I mean? Relating to breach of airspace. Russia, Putin. That's a Crux report. You have an let me see what we have. Yeah, explosion at South Korea military base. Injury 7. You have an what else we have? Israel launches attacks on Hamas leaders. That was yesterday at Qatar, relating to blast heard in Doha, major city. You have, let me see. War can end. Israel says yes to Trump proposal for Gaza truce. Scripture says, never trust thy enemy, because as rust of iron, so is his wickedness, man. So really, Scripture talks about, and Psalms talk about, when they with peace in their heart, but in their mind is war within, man. You know what I mean? 55, 20, 21. Let me see if I get it real quick. So they say peace, but really they want war, man. You know what I mean? 55. So they'll destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace and find none. 7:5 of Ezekiel, man. You know what I mean? So they're going to seek peace but find none, man. There will be no peace. Think not that I'll come to send peace on earth, but the sword. Think not that I'll come to send peace on earth, but division. So the Lord is sending a certain type of vibration on the earth, man. He's setting a certain vibration on the earth that's going to affect person, place, and things, man. Go to 20. For he had put his hands against such as be at peace with him, and have broken the covenant. Covenant goes to the oath, whether verbally or contractually. His words of his mouth was smoother than butter, but war was in his heart, which is his mind. And that's what majority of leaders, respectfully, such as Benjamin Netanyahu, Putin, they have war in their mind, man, which is their heart. Their heart, which is their mind, has war, man. They don't want to end, man. They'll tell you what they want to tell you, and tell these leaders what they want to tell you. But the reality is they do not want to stop what they're doing, man. His words were softer than oil, yet they drawn swords, man. So they drawn swords for battle, man. You know what I mean? That's Psalm 55, 20, 21. Because he could tell any of the presidents, whether it's Trump or anybody, what he wants, but it's with his actions. They say actions speak louder than words, man. So they say it's not what you do, it's how you do it, man. So in Putin's case, man, he's doing what he wants to do, man. You know what I mean? Because he knows he can manipulate the situation. All right. Let's go to ABC News. Let's see what's on there. So he was a conservative leftist, conservative activist, CEO, 31, you know what I mean? So he was deleted, shot at event he was attending. What else we have? Other news. Trump wants the death penalty for that incident in Charlotte light train rail stabbing incident. You know, the individual suspect. He wants the death penalty proposed relating to that. You have Trump was at a restaurant right here, and some lady, pretty much hecklers, were yelling at him, calling him, you know, different things relating to Hamas and Gaza situation. It's right here. Pretty much very warlike, you know, she was escorted out, you know what I mean, relating to what she was saying. Somebody made on a comment, any other country, they wouldn't be able to do that to a president openly, like Russia or one of them other countries, because it probably wouldn't, you know what I mean? So much for, you know, in this country, you're lucky you could do certain things, you know, for the most part. But that's changing heads, man. That's turning. So this country's going to become like these other countries, man. You know, it's just a matter of due time, due season, man. Scripture talks about everything relating to under the heavens, even under the heavens, under the sun. You know what I mean? Get it real quick. Ecclesiastes 3. Ecclesiastes 3, man. Because there's a time and place for everything. And you're seeing certain things start to manifest. There is a time for everything and a season for it. every activity under the heavens. Activities are the things that's going on earth, man. This is our new international version. 3 and 8. A time to love, a time to hate, a time for war, and a time for peace. So we in a certain time right now relating to the season of what we're in, man. Relating to the activities. The activities relates to a time to hate, a time of war. We're in a very divisive, a very strifeful, and contentious environment, man, related to on earth, man. You know what I mean? That's why that scripture talks about, things are happening under the heavens, activities under the heavens, things going on under the earth, man. You know what I mean? So that's what we're saying, man. We're seeing deletions, we're seeing atrocities, and a lot of stuff. There's activities that's going on that's not being reported. That's not being reported relating to on the news media. You know what I mean? That's by design, because the news media is only going to report what's necessary, what needs to be reported. You know what I mean? That's why you have to go alternative or other optional types of venues for information, man. Because they're not going to tell you certain things, because that's set up. The same people who are in a position, higher position, they control the media. They control what information and what they want you, what collectively and individually you need to know. You know what I mean? That's why they control that, and that's by design, because they don't want people to, let's just say, be awakened to certain things, man. You know what I mean? All right, let's continue on. Number 8, a time to love, a time to hate, a time of war, a time of peace. So we're in a time of war, and we're in a time of hate. Hate goes to strife and contention, man. Hate is a strong dislike, man, for something. You know what I mean? When you look it up, it's a very, very strong dislike, even a loathing. All right, let's continue on and see what all the news. So this individual is very close to the Trump family, close to Trump's sons and different things. What else we have? This was the suspect relating to that. This is a light rail in Charlotte. This is Charlotte, North Carolina. They have a light rail system. That's where it was at. Scripture talks about be circumspect and not as fools, as wise, redeeming the times, because the days are evil. So you have to be circumspect around your environment, paying attention to different things, man. You know what I mean? Especially person, place, and things, especially people, man. Because you have a certain vibration that's being set forth satanically, demonically upon people, man. The behavior, that's effects or influences relating to the behaviors, man, of different things. So that relates to that. That relates to Trump wants the death penalty, like I was saying, relating to that individual, man. You know what I mean? All right. Scripture talks about knowing this in the last days, that perilous times shall come. So perilous goes to bad, evil times, man. And the scripture talks about for iniquity shall abound, and the love of many shall wax cold. And that's what you're seeing. So iniquity is going to abound, and the love of many is going to wax cold. You seeing the love of many waxing cold, lack of regard, lack of respect. You know what I mean? College tuitions are turned into OnlyFans to cover the rising cost of tuition. Here's a report here. This is Fox. And you're seeing a lot of videos talking about people cash-strapped, jobs, losing, can't pay for rent. I was talking about can't pay rent. The bills are increasing, they're getting higher and higher, different things, all kinds of videos talking about people, both men and women, talk about they don't have enough money to pay their bills, they worry about paying their rent, electric, food, so that we in bad times, man, so we in serious times, man. The dynamic of society is changing, man, And the majority of those videos you see, and a lot of them are mostly women more than anybody. You had a situation, I believe, also related to the National Guards in Chicago. You had young individuals talking about relating to regards to the National Guards. And you have videos talking about guys talking about that National Guards are military. That's federal military. They're trained to do certain things. They have the technology to do certain things, at their disposal or their choosing. And to be honest with you, I seen a video talking about, these YNs or young individuals talk about what they can do, but they underestimate the capabilities of the military. Military, just for example, they can use drones and hit you without even going into your space, man. Meaning they don't need human beings to go in there. They can just use certain things without touching you, man. So their capabilities is beyond what most people understand. A drone can hit a major perimeter areas of different things, man. They don't have to even go in there. So that lets you know what kind. They can also use the BIO form of warfare, man. So they have a lot at their disposal to, do your history relating to that. You have cities relating to St. Louis and various other cities relating to different projects used in large cover areas, Operation Large Cover Area, in different major cities that affect a certain demographic category groups of people, man, using a certain type of warfare on them. So if they can do that, imagine what other capabilities they can do, man. So it can affect water, food, and different things. Air, Operation Cloverleaf, 1994, 2001, and Continuum. That's chemtrails. Project 112, 62 to 73, around JFK era, man. And large project, large cover area, man. Which means it covers a large area relating to these cities, man. So that goes back to the 50s and 60s, man. These are decades relating to certain projects, man. So you young individuals, you have no idea relating to the capability they have. Scripture talks about 6 and 4 Revelations talk about Esau, Edom, the red horse, to take peace from the earth using the great sword. That's his blessing, the sword, man. That's his part of that is his technology. It's just quick news. You're seeing a lot of videos relating to that. And really, that goes to the National Guards relating to those areas they're going to send. You know what I mean? So, and they don't have to be the most trained relating to, but they're trained enough to do what they do, because a lot of them have a variety and diverse backgrounds and different things. That's what they do. So you young ends and different other individuals, you know what I mean, like that video said, they're not afraid of the National Guards. Well, the National Guards ain't exactly afraid of you either. So, you know what I mean. So it's mutually in return, but you know what I mean. So so going to that, relating to that, hope it helps relating to information. This is quick, something quick. I want to give all praise, Yahweh Shem, Shabbat Shem, Rakakada, Zayah, War Shalom.